GeForce assignment almost every week. So, and it is going to be the same Google Sheet we already open to do our assignments. And when we make any changes on that, we add any cells to add another assignment, it's going to change. It will
Yes.
notify you that we make changes on our
Yes.
that Google Sheet.
Yes.
So,
You know, the changes is of course done in stages. So it won't mean that when you submit a new assignment, it will mean that it's going to replace the history of the previous one. No, it's not going to replace the history of the previous one. I think that's your question. You're worried about it, yeah?
yes, maybe, it will show you the date that I have edited this Google Sheet, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change the date.
Yes, it's going to change the date. It's going to change the date. So what's your question?
The question is whether maybe you may think that maybe we are editing the assignments continuously, something like that. If we add on another assignments, for example, on the same the worksheet we are using.
Mm. Okay. So I may think that the assignment is like you're doing it for the first time.
Yeah, because the date of the anytime we log into the sheet to do another assignment there, for example, that the latest date we submitted that one, that will indicate on your side.
Okay. Okay. Let me show you this. I think that will answer your question. Yeah? Okay. So look at this. This is an assignment of one of the students. Yusuf Baji, I'm not trying to expose you, but just to show him how he's going to. So look at this side, version history. Can you see this version history?
Yes,
So
yes.
the current version was edited last by Yusuf himself on May 28 at 12:29 at 12:28 p.m. On Monday, Yusuf made some edition, and if you click on it, it will show you what has been edited. On Sunday, he did some work. Last week, May 24th at 8:24, he did some work. Can you see? 28, 28 like that. Is your question answered now?
Yes, it's fully answered now.
Okay. So that's the way it's going to happen. So everything is recorded. So if I click on this, it will take me to that version and you show exactly what you have done. Like if I click on this, look at it, it's going to give me the May 21st version. Can you see it?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
May 21st at 8:24, this was what Yusuf Abaji did. So it will never override what was there before. Okay? Happy?
So hello, sir. Yes. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what about because for me, I've been doing them in separate worksheets. But if the first one I submitted it in a separate worksheet, different from the second one.
Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's okay. That's what I wanted you to do. So I want you to put different assignments on different worksheets. So that's okay. Okay. So let's go and do our question because we started target costing, but we were left with one question, which is the exam type question. So the exam type question is Edwards Company Limited, and I think it's the last part on your handout. So I'm going to project it. If you don't have it handy, you can screenshot it. You can screenshot it. Just gonna do that. Right. I'm going to share this. Okay, so this was the question. Please screenshot this, then I move to the second one if you haven't got it, because I'm going to move away from this. Can you see this clearly? Can you see it clearly?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I'm going to move to the second one, the second part. Okay, so that's the last part of the question. Okay. So this is already on the handouts that I have already given you. And it was on the slides also. I think I shared the slides with you last week. Okay, but if you still don't have it, you can screenshot it from here so you can make reference to it. Okay, so are we good to go? Shall we? Shall we?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can go ahead.
We can go. Right. Excellent. Good. So I'm going to stop sharing this one. And then I'm going to share target costing. Good. So let's read our question. Let's read our question so we can be able to answer it. So we can be able to answer it. Okay. So it says, Edward Company assembles and sells many types of radio. It is considering extending its product range to include digital radios. These radios produce a better sound quality than traditional radios and have a large number of potential additional features.
Zaman,
Yes.
you are still projecting the assignment, huh?
Oh, sorry. Okay, let me project as I read, let me just project this one. Right. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so let's read it along, yeah? Edwards Company assembles and sells many types of radio. It is considering extending its product range to include digital radios. These radios produce a better sound quality than traditional radios and have a large number of potential additional features not possible with the previous technologies, like station scanning, more choice, one-touch tuning, station identification text, and song identification text, etc., etc. A radio is produced by assembly workers assembling a variety of components. Production overheads are currently absorbed into product costs on an assembly labor hour basis. Edward Company is considering a target costing approach for its new digital radio product. You're required to A, briefly describe the target costing process that Edwards Company should undertake, 5 marks. Explain the benefits to Edwards Company of adopting a target costing approach at such an early stage in the product development process. Assuming a cost gap was identified in the process, outline possible steps Edwards Company could take to reduce the gap. Okay, 7 marks. Okay, so let's look at the theory part. We discussed them. I have already provided the model answer for this on the slides I shared with you last week. Okay, so when you finish class, you can check out for them. Yeah, you can check out for them. Right. So now we're going to discuss the answers to the first part. That's the written part. So briefly describe a target costing process that Edwards Company should undertake. Edwards Company is dealing in what? Okay, what is their product type?
It's dealing in radios.
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 Okay. One can say traditional radios. And now it's trying to consider going into digital radios, isn't it? Okay. So you have to know the case. You have to know the business. Okay. Just like when you went out to do your research, you learned about the business before you are able to do your research. Okay. So the same thing, when you are given a case in the question, try to visualize the case. Okay. It's talking about a radio company, a digital radio. What are some of the things that's going to happen when you're doing a business like this? You know, so you have to visualize so that you can be able to answer the question properly. Okay. So it says, describe the target costing process that Edwards Company should undertake. So you have to describe the target costing. So how should Edwards Company go ahead with the target costing? So what is the process they should undertake? Actually, it will be the normal target costing process, but this time around, you have to apply it to the radio business. Okay? So what should be the first thing that Edwards Company Limited should do? What should be the first thing they should do?
I think there's work on
he
their
should do
number
a
of employees
market
employed.
survey.
Sorry, one at a time, please. Please raise your hand so I can be able to select. Raise your hand, please. If you want to talk, raise your hand. Okay, Karamo. Karamo, yes, tell us.
Yes, what I'm saying is, I think because if you check, you realize that the number of employees they should minimize it, because labor here is a fixed cost and it's going to consume a lot of cost in their process of production. So at least if they minimize the number of employees, that will help them in making a better target cost.
Okay, I think that's a valid point, but that will come under C. So the A part is just trying to describe the process, the target costing process. Ibrahima, you want to come in? Ibrahima Jaita?
Yeah, I want to say that first of all, he need to make a market research. That is the market survey.
Okay,
To know
very good, very good. They need to do a market research. So in their own case, how are they going to do the market research?
Yeah, they will go to the market and try to ask some of the customers or try to initiate some of the
So which market? Are they going to go to
media.
the soap manufacturing market or what?
First of all, the network is very poor.
No, they will go to where they normally sells the.
No,
That is
you
the
have to say
competitive market.
which market are we talking about? Apply it to the case. It's true that they need to do a market research, but which market? Who can help Ibrahim? Ibu, you want to talk? Ibu Sise? Okay, Yasin's hand is up. Yasin, can you tell us?
Yes. He needs to go to the media market.
Media market. Okay, specifically which market? Yes, media market. Fine.
To the radio market to determine their selling price.
Exactly. The
and
digital radio
the
market.
estimated
Yeah.
output.
Yasin, it looks like you have two appliances on. Can you switch off the other one, please?
Okay, I mean they should go to the media market to determine their selling price of their products.
So
and also their estimated outputs.
Exactly. So to be specific, because when you say media, it is also very, very big. So to be specific, they need to go to the digital radio market. Can you switch off one of your appliances, Yasin, please? It's echoing.
I think it's my phone.
It's two of them. So you need to switch off on one of them. Otherwise, you keep echoing. Okay, but that's a valid point. Okay, so what is next? What is next?
Yes, so add on what these guys are saying, you need, or first you need to make a market research.
Okay, they need to do a market
organization
research. Okay, and
to understand and determine what the
exactly. So the end product of the market research is to come up with an average selling price, isn't it? So
yes,
after that, what should they do?
Hello?
Yes.
And also to identify the market, the information collected from to collect information from the customers that.
Yes, we've completed that. That's okay. They will need to do a market research in the media market, just like Yasin said, specifically in the digital radio market. And at the end of that exercise, they're supposed to come up with an average selling price that the digital radio they want to produce, the selling price, the target selling price for the radio, the digital radio they're going to produce. So that will be the output of that exercise. So what is next after the market research exercise?
Next maybe is the steps in target costing, maybe to determine your possible selling price. And also
no, the selling price has been determined from first step. That's after market research. After determining the selling price, what is the next step?
Yeah, can I come in?
Yes, come in, Cham.
The next step is to go and look at the products that are involved in the making of this radio. The materials, the raw materials that are involved in making the radio.
No, that will come on assembly. Mohammed Gay is signed on twice. Mohammed, you need to switch off one of them. Yes.
Maybe I think the next step should be they should set their target costing.
No, the target costing will come. It will come after the second stage. The target cost, determining your target cost will be step 3.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Fofana.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess the second step that they need to do is to identify the market.
The market identification has been done from first step.
Identifying the market.
That has been done already.
Apart from the market research, like to identify the market, to inform about
the
types of
when you're doing
that
your market research, that's
prevalent in the market.
When you're doing the market research, that's when you're going to identify potential market for your products. Okay, so that stage has been covered. Have you forgotten what we did on target costing? Steps in target. Exactly. You identify the profit margin. And how are you going to identify the profit margin? Let's say Edwards Company Limited deals in radio business. How are they going to identify their profit margin?
Based on the required return.
Exactly. They're going to identify their profit margin by, of course, making reference to their profitability policy. Okay, and that will be stipulated on board minutes or on management meetings minutes, or how to call it, any of the strategic document they have. So you have to make reference to that. Okay, Edwards Company Limited might say that for every digital radio we produce, we are going to make 15% profit. Or they could say on every radio we have to add, let's say, 10 let's say 20 pound profit. So it might be relative, it might be absolute. Okay? So it might be either a percentage or, so it depends on the organization's policy. Good. So the third stage will be what? Yasin, you can come with your point now. What will be the third stage?
The third stage is going to be ascertaining their target cost.
Exactly, ascertaining their target cost. So Edwards Company Limited needs to ascertain their target cost. So how are they going to do that?
They are going to deduct it from their profit. They are
From
going
their
to deduct
profit.
the profit from the selling price.
Okay, so they've already identified a selling price. Two, they've already identified a profit, and then their target cost will be the difference between those two. Simple. Yasin, are you there with someone else whose appliance is on? Because he's seriously echoing.
No, everything is off here. I don't know what's the problem, but everything is off.
Oh, wow. Maybe it's the acoustics of your building. You know, sometimes when you are on a building with walls, it's not there's not much, you know, stuff in the house. The sound echoes. I've learned that from my physics lessons. Yeah? The acoustics of the building. Maybe that, I don't know. Anyway, we'll try to manage it. Okay, so that was good. So that will answer the A part. Of course, you have to make reference to, you know, the case, like I said, not only stating the steps. If you state the steps, you might not get even half of the required mark, but you have to apply it to the case. Okay. A lot of students obviously can be very, very good memorizing notes, understanding stuff and stuff like that. But when it comes to answering questions, they're very poor at it. You know, questions like this, at your level, nobody's going to ask you, what is 1 plus 1? Nobody. If anybody brings in 1 plus 1 in an exam, you should be worried. There is a catch. Maybe his question of 1 plus 1, the answer may not be 2. The 1 plus 1, the answer may be 4. You know, 1 plus 1 the answer can be 4 or 3. Do you believe in that? If you are answering a question on goodwill, okay, for example, you know the total assets of the business when they are added together is not equal to the value of the business. Okay? So 1 plus 1 may not equal to 2 in that scenario, but 1 plus 1 may be equals to 3. Okay? Do you get me right? So if you have questions like this, you must not answer them with your book knowledge, but you apply them to the scenario. The name of the game is your knowledge must be applied to a business. Okay? Just like the assignment I've given you. Okay? So please take note of that. So let's go to the B part. The B part says, explain the benefits to Edwards Company of adopting a target costing approach at such an early stage in the product development process. So in other words, what are the benefits of target costing that Edwards Company can accrue? Okay. So there are so many of them. Just give me some of them. Benefits of target costing. You came across it in your assignment, isn't it? You came across it in your assignment, isn't it? Madeline, what was the benefit of target costing for that restaurant? What do you think can be the benefit of target costing for the restaurant?
Mr. Fufana.
Yes, Madeline.
Yeah, the benefits would be it will increase profitability.
Excellent. It will increase profitability. Why will it increase profitability?
Because the cost will be based on the selling less the profit that is assumed.
Okay, excellent. So in other words, before you even produce, you've already estimated your profit. So you can't get it
Yeah.
wrong. You can't get it
Yes.
wrong.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So profitability. Okay. What other benefits can we get from it? Yasin?
Okay.
According to Madeline, like I was listening,
Yes.
like Siso just said that they should reduce the size of the meat pie. So basically, it will also reduce
It's
cost.
16 hours.
Yes. So when they reduce the price of the meat pie, the selling price, okay, it will reduce cost. But that has got another benefit. Very, very important one. The economics will come. Price elasticity of demand. Isn't it, Yasin? Okay? So if they reduce the selling price of the fish pie, what's going to happen? So if price is elastic to demand, a reduction in price is going to result in what? It's going to result in what?
To high demand. High demand. Higher demand.
It's going to result in increase in demand. So if they've been coming to the restaurant and buying the fish pie or the meat pie for $21 or $22, and the following day they come there and they say, oh, the price has reduced to $20, they'll buy more. They'll be happy with you. But provided it's going to be the same taste or better. So if you say meat pie or if you say fish pie, you've been giving them this how do you call it this cheddar or whatever, and then later on you decide to put this burger fish. Burger fish is usually sweet, but I don't know, maybe the yai boy or whatever you call it. So the test will definitely be different. So you have reduced the unit price, but then the quality has been compromised. So not in that case, but at least if you maintain the quality, the unit price comes down. Naturally, the sales quantity or the sales demand is going to go up, and that will result in high profitability. Excellent. Good. So those are some of the points that you need to mention in B and then try to relate it to the radio business. Okay, very, very important. So in C, assuming a cost gap was identified in the process, outline possible steps Edwards Company could take to reduce the cost gap. Okay, so we know what a cost gap is, isn't it? We know what a cost gap is, isn't it? Yeah? Abdullah Danzo, are you with us? What is a cost gap? Danzo? Abdullah, are you with us? Sharif Ba. Sharif, are you with us? Sharif? Babukar Danso. I have 3 Dansos in my class. Babukar.
Yes, I'm here.
You've not spoken today. In C, we are supposed to reduce the cost gap for Edwards Company Limited. What is cost gap?
The gap between the target cost and the actual cost.
The gap between?
Between the target cost and the actual cost.
The target cost and actual cost. Is that the case? What is the actual cost?
The actual cost that you incurred.
No, we're not dealing with actuals here. We are planning. We are not dealing with any historic data here. Do you call it actual cost? Core. Mr. Core.
I don't know name for it.
Yes, it's cost, but it's not called actual cost.
Hello, Professor.
Yes. Suleiman Core, let's give chance to
Yeah, this could be the difference between the target cost and the assumed cost.
exactly the assumed cost or the budgeted cost using your current costing technique, either ABC or absorption costing. Okay, Mr. Danso, it's not actual cost. When you talk about actual, that means that's actual, So we are doing target costing as a planning tool. Okay, we're trying to do it before production, so it cannot be actual cost. Okay, so it's going to be the costing technique, your current costing technique, different from target costing, the cost you're going to calculate, but it will be a planned cost or a budgeted cost. Okay, good. Right. So, so we know the cost gap, of course, and now how are we going to eliminate the gap? How are we going to eliminate the gap? Horeja Bijane. Horeja, are you with us? Aisatu Seka? Aisatu? Aisatu? Kumba Fayinke? Kumba? Kumba, are you with us? Are you ignoring me or what? Mr. Jawara, Lamin. So Lamin, how are we going to, in this case, Edwards Company, they're dealing in digital radio. How are we going to eliminate their cost gap?
The cost gaps are.
First, you have to use the details in the case. Okay. At the moment, they are using what? They are using absorption costing. Okay. Yes. So in order to say how they're going to reduce their cost gap, you must first give the background. Okay. So tell us.
Yes, I was kind of busy a little bit in the office. I was not going through, but I know what I understand about this.
Yes, this is why deliberately I called you, because you used to be active in class, so you've been very quiet. So I want to wake you up.
Yeah. Today I've been busy, but I know how for them to reduce the cost is like they have to look at let's say some of the direct materials and then see how to strategize to reduce cost from some of those things.
Okay, general statement. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Who can help, please? Who can help? Based on your case, I mean, for those who have done their assignment and give advice as to the way they should reduce the gap.
Yes, Mr. Fofana.
Yes, Yusuf.
Based on my case, they can reduce it by reducing the number of ingredients they are using to make that sweetbreads, and also maybe using different materials.
Okay, and taking note of what? Taking note of quality.
Taking quality, yeah.
Okay, good. So when we apply it to this case, if you read the second part of the question, you will see the material. So there is nothing stopping you from reading everything. And all the information that is related to the second part, you have right to use it. And you could make reference to it. For example, in this case, in order to make this digital radio, you need three types of material. That's the circuit board, the wiring, and then the other materials. So you could mention that Edwards Company Limited should look at the specification of these three materials. Okay, and then trying to ensure that it meets with standard specification. Okay, if it goes beyond the standard specification, they should reduce that. By reducing their component count, of course, they are going to save cost, isn't it? Okay, So you look at the labor hours also. The labor hours is going to they are paid what? $12.60. That's expensive. Okay, so you could mention that the quality of labor that they're going to work, that's going to work on this radio, if it can be, if staff who are less experienced and of course who will be paid less, can work on this production, then we might consider, for example, let's say staff with let's say $10 per hour rate. Okay, but then, like I said, we must make sure quality is not compromised. Okay, so these are some of the points you need to mention. So in order to answer the first part, go through, read the whole case, and then you can be able to use the information on the question to answer your written part. So first, you have to state that Edwards Limited needs to calculate its target cost. And whatever target cost it came up with will have to be compared with its projected cost using its current costing technique. And I guess the current costing technique is what? Absorption costing. Okay? So after comparing the budgeted cost using the current costing technique and the target cost, the difference will be the cost gap. And then the cost gap can be eliminated. Then you start saying, like we say, by looking at the components and then see how the components can be reduced if possible. If there are some components that can be substituted, you can substitute them without having any effect on the quality. The labor also, you can see if cheaper labor can work on the order perfectly without any problem, you can go for that. And then if the number of hours that is going to be spent on working each radio, if you could reduce that by, how can you reduce that? By ensuring that the machines, the staff are going to work with are efficient in the first place, and of course, not only the machine, the quality of the material also. Okay, because if the quality of the material is poor, the production time is going to be longer, and of course, the is going to make it more costly. So these are some of the points you need to mention. But like I said, the model answer will be provided. The model answer will be provided, but some of these are common sense. I think you can answer them in your own way as much as possible. Okay. So the bottom line